the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill.
And I'm Johnny the Monkey. As in
Johnny the Monkey from Borat 2.
The porn star.
The porn star monkey from the country of Kazakhstan that Borat was supposed to give as a gift. So our subject this week is Borat 2.
Indeed. We watched Borat the Subsequent Movie Film. For those that don't know, Borat, a movie with Sacha Baron Cohen, came out in 2006. The movie was kind of a prank movie with a narrative tied in, and he kind of would, I think the first one very much focused on anti-Semitism in the U.S. and just a lot of it just like put weird conservative people under uncomfortable, stressful situations, which is funny.
Yeah.
And so this film kind of continues it, but the idea is Borat is very recognizable. We all know it. More people know who Sacha Baron Cohen is, even just
my wife.
Yeah, even just know who he is regularly. So he couldn't do the pranks and stuff like that. So he kind of goes in disguise, and he has a daughter, Maria Bakalova.
Plays his daughter. That's not his actual daughter.
Yeah, plays his daughter. She's a Bulgarian actress, little known, unknown until now, and she did a great job. And so she was the one kind of taking the brunt of just going for it and doing some pretty crazy shit.
Yeah, I think too, there's always a question that I have, and I didn't watch the first Borat.
Yeah,
I don't know why, it just didn't come up. I saw enough of the clips that I was like, I got this. I figured it out. So I never really searched it out or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just the whole like premise of the like sort of prank, but like in character, like testing your testing you as the audience, like, well, what are you gonna believe? Like, what's real? And then for me on the other side of it, I just have so many questions about like, what's editing? Like, what did he actually say to people?
Yeah, because there's definitely reactions of different things plugged in.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It works out well, but there's definitely a manufacturing of things.
And then also because of my experience as a member of the Jimmy Kimmel Show, I don't know if I haven't heard. I don't know if I've never ever told this story, but I was in L.A. And I was walking. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get some coffee. I was staying in my friend's house in Hollywood Boulevard or whatever near there. And I was walking to go get some coffee, and these people were like, hey, do you wanna can we interview you for a news segment or something? I don't remember what they said. And I was like, fuck it, I'm in LA. Yeah, sure, you can interview me. It'll be weird. And then they were like, oh, did you hear about? How do you feel about the thing that they did with Hillary Clinton? And I was like, what are you talking about? What thing with Hillary Clinton? Oh, the thing that all your friends are talking about on Facebook. And I was like, what? I didn't get on Facebook this morning. What are you talking about? And eventually, I was like, well, I mean, eventually I answered and was like, well, I mean, does this have to do with her being sick? I asked a bunch of times, what it was about, and eventually I was just like, okay, yeah, well, I guess, she probably shouldn't have done that, or, I think that she's, trying to do what's best. And then eventually I was like, I'm sorry, guys, I have absolutely no fucking idea what you're talking about. And they're like, hey, it's okay, we already got what we need. Hey, by the way, this is, we're the Jimmy Kimmel Show, here's the release. You're like, I already signed the release. And then I actually was in the show.
Jeez.
And it was all edited up. I was because it was oh, do people know? It was one of those segments. It was do people know what the fuck's going on in the world?
Yeah.
And and it was the clip is me yeah, man, I guess she. I honestly don't remember, but I was just I remember being huh, they fucking got me. But it wasn't
But they got what they wanted.
Yeah, they got what they wanted, but it wasn't I actually didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's a lot of situations where you have people seeming like doing pretty shitty shit or like accepting the comments he's making or whatever, and you don't know.
Yeah, like there's a couple times
it was a little contrived.
Yeah,
which is interesting, and I don't know. I'm curious about the process and how much like Sacha Baron Cohen, how much he or the directors or producers or whoever.
That's what I was thinking.
How much they care about the integrity of that, or they know, or they're aware of it, and they're just like, "Hey, we're just trying to craft something."
Or like,
interesting.
Like when,
but
like,
that's not actually what's going on. Or they're like, "Yeah," and like, do they want us to believe that that's actually what happened?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, not really. But but there's also like, it kind of can hurt the experience if you know these guys are just like they're that arrogant, with way they're manipulating people and giving us impressions.
Like this, I absolutely believe in the beginning of the movie, he absolutely does go, like in the beginning of the movie, again, spoilers all over the place, this is what we do here, we're just kind of like talking about stuff, and in the beginning of the movie, he's like, oh, I discovered technology, he gets a phone, and they connect it to a big TV, and he immediately goes to like porn. It's like framed accidentally, but he goes to porn.
Yeah.
And
this is my first big laugh of the movie.
And the man there's like, I really believe
Brian.
that Brian is like, okay, yeah, well, I guess he figured it out. I think he's figuring it out.
Well, and I think so. Brian kind of comes in later in the movie, and I think a lot of the pranks, especially the people who were more, just regular people.
Yeah,
I think they came around on them. And like, so he had like a little segment at the end with the twist, which we can talk about later. But I like the twist.
I like the twist too. I think it's pretty funny. But throughout the sorry, tongue tied. But throughout the movie, I was like just in awe of like as like someone who's like produced commercials and trying to like gotten places. It's like, gee, like getting people to do this stuff.
The things they did, I don't know all the hows.
Like, how much do they tell people? What do they tell people to get them in there? And yeah, I would really like to interview, or I'm sure the information is out there, but it's just baffling. Like,
I didn't do a lot of research. The only bit that I know behind the scenes of is when he goes to the temple, and the two Jewish ladies are there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they talked about it after.
Yeah.
And they broke the character, and he explained it.
Yeah.
And I guess the family's still suing about it.
That's reasonable.
But my situation, so we'll skip ahead. So for those who don't know, the anti-Semitism is very explored in the first one, and the Kazakhstanis are in this. I don't know if they are in real life. Are anti-Semitic, and so Borat naturally is ignorantly an anti-Semitic, and so he's hit his low point. He wants to die, so his suicide attempt is going into a temple, dressed as a very offensive and Jew caricature.
Yeah,
and there's these two old ladies in there just waiting for him, and they're very, very nice, very sweet, and very receptive to him, no matter how offensive this is. And like, to me, that
was a really nice scene.
That was really hard,
in a weird way.
Yeah, it was like their love and understanding, and I'm not discrediting their love and understanding, but I wonder how much of that was like the way they were sitting there. You can interpret it as they were just there hanging out.
Yeah,
and he walked in, or there was a meeting set up, like with like a troubled individual, and they knew.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's how they were sold it. Like, hey, there's a troubled individual coming in. You guys are gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so super speculative.
Well,
but it's just like it was the most obvious example because it was so offensive.
Yeah.
That I think
it's so directly offensive too, especially for someone who was a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
And that was like his whole thing. He wanted to go die.
You chuckled in the middle of saying Holocaust survivor because there was a dick on the screen.
There was a dick on the screen.
Just clarifying.
Just clarifying. Because as always, you do have the movie on in the background a little bit, just as a little refresher. But it is like, I mean, I think that's one of the things that like on a whole, this movie was surprisingly
Wholesome.
Wholesome?
Yeah.
Like even for having like ridiculous over the top pranks, and maybe I missed out by having not watched the first one, and I wish that I had gotten the chance to watch it. It's just
the first one wasn't as heartfelt.
Yeah, that one seemed like it feels like where we are, and I think that kind of like I'll get into that later. It's like, you know, I don't know if this plays as well because we already know who Borat is. And everybody like already knows that it's Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
Or not everybody, but we do.
Yeah, it's just hard to recreate that.
It's hard to recreate because I remember when it first came out, like there was a period where I thought it was real.
Yeah.
You know? And because I didn't know Sacha Baron Cohen. I think when it first came out I was 15 or 14 or something.
I had no idea. He was Borat to me.
Yeah, he was Borat. And that was it. And it was just like nowadays all of our media is so shocking, so it's like it's kind of hard to like top it. So it felt like they had to be a little bit more subtle, and make the story a little bit more important.
Yeah, I think because there's a lot more acting beats between actors, and there's even so in terms of wholesomeness, I think the fax guy, in terms of just being his little buddy and not judging him, is nice. Especially they're in Texas, I'm assuming, for a lot of this.
Yeah, I think they're in Galveston.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that these Texans are seeing, and most of them are taking in stride. Some of them are just straight up not great people. But it's like the fax guy, like he's just seeing weird stuff, and he's like not judging. He's like helping. He has.
Hey man, teach your own.
What?
Teach their own, man.
Pretty much. And then you have Janice, who's just a great woman, who very, very helpful and empowering.
Yeah.
Very wholesome. And then the two conspiracy theory quarantine buddies.
Yeah.
They're I don't know if they're actors.
I don't know if they're actors. That was the biggest question.
I love the dynamic, and that was actually randomly very wholesome. That like he just had these two buddies that he hung out with in quarantine, who were just like these conservative, like right wing conspiracy theorists.
Yeah,
it's such a funny comparison.
But the thing is like it's also very humanizing, where it's just like they're just there. I don't know, man. It's such a because he's there with them, and they're just spinning. Yeah. They're just spinning their wheels, just like. And he's like, "Okay, yes."
When he say like Hillary, they take the adrenaline from children or something and pump it into them.
They take they drink the blood.
Yeah,
they drink the adrenaline blood, and that makes them feel good or something. My favorite, holy shit, my favorite is whenever she eats the baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is my favorite. Like that, like they got that guy, and I don't know how they got him to sign a release. And that's the main question that I have.
Birth center guy?
The birth center guy.
Well, he took it pretty well
he did, but they got him to be like, well, you need to keep your father's baby inside of you.
Yeah, that's...
But
like also like I knew that was coming, like that was there.
Yeah. And I guess again we're talking about it in a weird sort of like roundabout, like how they do the structure of it. How do they do the scenes first, you think? And then like I don't know, I'm just confused and like interested about the structure of things. Like do they plan out these like sort of pranks? And did they then build a scene around it?
My theory is, I don't know about that order, but I had a theory that they had about 2 or 3 Janices. Mm-hmm. Their names are not always Janice. It was whatever the real name was.
Yeah.
And the best one, or the one that played to the beats.
Yeah.
They used, and I'm sure they had a bunch of I don't know. That's just a complete guess.
So, because I know that's the thing. Like when we go and we like look for locations. We try and go to as many places as possible and try and get I don't know, I'm just trying to relate it to my experience because it's like, I hate to not talk about like the funny stuff and like the messaging and stuff, but it's just so baffling to me how getting something like this done. And then as a performer, staying in character, like that's the hardest thing for me. is like I'm staying in character and I'm all saying this ridiculous shit and this person's like,
Well, I mean, one thing is Sacha Baron Cohen. He's obviously a pro at this, and he can do it. He's done it many times. Have you seen Bruno?
I haven't seen Bruno.
I'll tell that after this. But like Maria Bakalova, she is a relatively unknown and experienced-ish actor out of Bulgaria, and she'd never been to the U.S. before, and she's out here doing like crazy improv comedy in a land she's never been to before. I mean, she's not sheltered in Bulgaria. I'm not trying to go with that implication, but like, I don't know, like, and she was out there in the most dangerous, weird situations, or like the debutante ball with her bloody moon blood and like flashing that out and everything. I was just like, that was not like a bad cringe, but like oh no, that was the hardest one for me. To watch.
It was so funny because that was the one that I could tell that the people there weren't sure.
Yeah.
Like the people there, like watching, like at the debutante ball.
Yeah.
Were like, ugh. And then like, you see some of the dads be like, they can't do that. It's not allowed. And it's like,
there's the one dad like just looking, but who knows? That maybe that wasn't edited.
Well, and there was the one fucking guy who was like, how much my daughter worth? And he goes, $500.
I know, that was such a good moment.
And
if
his
that was
daughter was
genuine,
like-
because
and
that
his-
girl like
That his daughter was so pissed.
yeah.
It's so. But the thing is, I feel like jumping back is like the movie is more heartwarming and like full.
Yeah. It's a father-daughter story.
Because it is like, him being this boorish asshole guy, and then like learning that his daughter has worth, and then her learning that she has worth, and like building to that, and I don't know, it's surprisingly like wholesome and like nice.
Yeah,
I guess.
And it's just like there are dramatic moments in it, but like Borat's wearing this weird like lingerie and wig, and he looks like some weird 70s porn star, and it's like a really heartfelt moment at the end of the movie that they're having. But it's just
the setting, they're in like an alleyway outside of this hotel. So yeah, all right, so let's go through.
Well, like I got the thing from Bruno.
Okay, go.
So this part, it's weird. So Bruno, he's like an Austrian model, like very gay.
Yeah.
And he goes to I think it's in Missouri or something. He goes and they host a wrestling thing, and it's $1 beer, and they have everyone come in, and they all sign releases on their way in. And it's $1 beer, so they just like kind of, I think they have some fights, and people get drunk and fucking hammered, and then like Sacha Baron Cohen comes out, and his name's like Straight Bill or something. And what's his name? Bruno is kind of being Bruno, but he's like dressed like a classic American dude, just saying things, and it kind of devolves into like more and more kind of gay jokes and homoerotic stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's a plant, it's an actor, an infuriated guy comes out into the stage, and they start fighting, but then they start kissing and like undressing, and it gets super like. What's the word? Like they're just going at it, touching and rubbing each other down, and all the people in the audience, they have cameras everywhere and mics, and they're all just saying like all the most offensive stuff, and just like freaking out. Like everyone's throwing shit, and then they built a escape tunnel into the stage for Sacha Baron Cohen and the actor to escape.
That's amazing.
So that was like a whole thing. So
that's
like,
amazing.
I think that kind of just like. I mean, the extent he goes for these stunts is insane.
That's awesome. See, that's like, I definitely, as like sort of like the chaotic like high schooler in me, definitely dreams of going to a makeup counter and eating, and just like being like, yeah, I'll eat some of this lipstick, and they're like, it's not for that, and it's like, I know it's not for that, but you look crazy. You know,
it makes the other person look weird when you're the one doing stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, it just the question is like how much is real, but it's like
I want to know if that so they go to a place to try on dresses, and his daughter Tutar, the character's name is Tutar, gets handed the dress, and she comes out with the dress cover, and I'm like, I wonder if that was something they planned, or if that's like Maria Bakalova's wit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I hope her career blossoms because she was hilarious.
Yeah, I hope she gets to do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Can you imagine having like a Eastern European woman on like SNL or something? Just like...
That'd be cool.
Has there been international people on SNL ever? Besides guests?
Oh, that's a good... I don't know. I'm
probably
not.
Because it's a super... It's primetime middle America.
But it's also been like primarily like it started Chicago, Second City TV. I mean, I would say probably not. I'm trying to think, and someone in the comments will just like eviscerate me for this very obvious person, because everyone's like, oh, everyone's a big old Saturday Night Live scholar these days.
Yeah, everyone's Lorne Michaels PhD 101 class. But yeah, Borat. What were you saying about the? You were saying something before I brought up the Bruno.
I remember all the stunts. That's the thing that I don't know if because I don't know if I like this. I never watched like Bad Grandpa. I never really watched Jackass. I don't know if this is because I like it, and like, have you ever watched the show Nathan For You?
No, that sounds really familiar.
It's like essentially like Borat, but much more like subdued. Okay. So essentially, and you can watch like clips of it, because like he pretends to be like a business helper. Like he's like, oh, I'm Nathan Felder, and he's a Canadian dude who's like very like soft spoken, and he like this. And he's like he helps businesses find creative solutions to make their business grow. And so there's one where there's this lady in an old like China shop, or like an old like antique shop, and she's like, nobody ever comes in and buys anything. And so he's like, well, if you put free pizza in the back and get beer, and then make people wear an inflatable bull costume, because you have a policy that if you break it, you buy it. So if they break it, they do have to buy it. So basically, like making sure that people break all the stuff. So he got this guy like super drunk, and was like, hey, you want to go get some pizza? I hear there's pizza at the back of this place. It's right here. And he like just goes through, he fucking knocks over a bunch of shit. And there's like a bunch of stuff like that, where he creates a sex box that you can put your children in when you want to have sex, and it's soundless. And then he hired a bunch of porn stars to have sex on the outside of the sex box. Whoa. With the children and with the child inside of it. It's a fucking like it's a pretty wild show. But it's like this. It's like Borat, but on a more localized scale.
Yeah.
And there's always like kind of this line from me where it's like, is it mean? Like that? Are they taking advantage of people? But also there's like the like especially the kill the baby doctor or keep the baby doctor. I'm like, no, that's funny. I like that.
Yeah. But
there is like that line for me where it's like, is it mean or is it funny?
Yeah, well, I think stuff like going to the hardware store and that guy, I think that was funny. I think it's a funny line because it's pretty innocent. It's like, why the hell is this guy like letting this dude buy a cage for his daughter? But I also thought like this dude probably thinks like
I don't know,
they're not actually father-daughter. There's probably some weird kinky shit going on. Like, hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
But then I see the Rudy Giuliani thing. I'm mixed on how
I'm also mixed.
I feel about it.
I don't like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not a Giuliani apologist over here, but it's just, he's a scumbag politician.
And he did marry his cousin.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He did marry his cousin.
It was building up to they knew what was going to happen. They knew what they were going to do to this man. They knew what they're going to have on him. They knew what they were going to show and publish publicly. So like again, I guess that pulls in the morals of it, you know. And would this, you know, is it because he's Trump's friend, you know, that it's okay to do it? Is that why the media is more or less okay with it, or would it be different if it was just a neutral person or a Democrat, you know, like I don't know, like
if it was Chuck Schumer or whatever.
Yeah. So it's I don't. It's a weird thing. I don't think it's like setting a precedent or like it's a can of worms that it's gonna blow out. Like I don't think this is that'll trigger anything happening a lot to politicians.
It's really,
but and I'm not defending Giuliani or Trump.
I mean, it's almost
or
like
that side of the government necessarily.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. You have to think about that. It's kind of I don't know. It's interesting and.
It's like Giuliani is already such a joke.
Yeah.
Again, to me, as like kind of like like putting the joke together or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he's already such a joke, and like I just don't think that it landed the way that they wanted it to land for me.
It just felt dirty.
I mean, and it was dirty
for all the reasons, like for him being a scumbag.
Yeah.
For them secretly recording and setting him up to be a scumbag, even though he is a scumbag. And then just the fact that, like, how many times has he done this before, and how many times has this happened in the industry? And
yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's supposed to like supposed to make you question how good of a person or whatever, what have you, he is. But it just, I don't know. There's like a weird line between like entrapment or something like that. But also, there's sort of like, if he wasn't a scumbag, would he have gotten entrapped?
Yeah.
You know? That's like the.
Did he deserve it?
Yeah.
I guess is the question.
Well, and I think for me, it's not so much as did he deserve it, as he like, was it, I mean, you got to take what you can get whenever you're trying to put together a thing, but it's like, I don't know how impactful it will be to Rudy Giuliani, because he's already like a weirdo scumbag. And that's the whole thing with, at this point, you know, we're 4 years into the Trump presidency.
Well, everything's desensitized.
Yeah, and they're all in jail, and it's all like, I mean, like, it's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and
there's other stuff is good.
It was like, whoa, wow, that's fucking wild. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Can't believe they got that. Like, it definitely wowed me. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But I guess whatever you were hinting at just now is like it didn't feel very
it didn't feel as
earned, I guess, or like
I
don't know if earned's the right word.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's not the. It's just I don't know. I don't know the answer. I am not these legendary producers, because it's like I guess it's probably not that hard to get Rudy Giuliani on a talk show, because he wants to like talk as much as he can and get as much screen time, because that's how he's gonna live forever, like some sort of like weird Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like that. I mean, you have to be in awe of like all the stuff that they do.
Yeah, I mean, he got into the was it CPAC, the conservative something conference.
I fucking love that.
And see, that was a good one. That was a good like
I'm
prank. And just Pence is like so what he does is he dresses up as, well, he gets into the convention center as a KKK guy.
Yeah.
Which that could be a whole different conference somewhere.
Yeah.
That could be a whole separate thing. That's hard. I mean, that's where the editing could come into play. But so he gets in as the KKK, and he gets to the bathroom, and he changes into this Trump outfit, grabs his daughter, and runs out to Mike Pence in the middle of his speech. Like, this really happened.
Yeah.
You can find the news articles, and they're like, Trump impersonator, and it's like, this was back in February when they were filming this, and no one knew. And he's just like, hey, Trump, here's my daughter, take my daughter.
Take my daughter.
Just yelling at him. You know, everyone's reactions of just shaking their head in shame, and then Pence is just like a disappointed father. And to his credit, I guess he handled it well.
I mean, he's a politician. He is a zombie.
I think he's definitely a a professional of being a politician for sure.
If there is anybody who is like an undead mage, it is Mike Pence.
Yeah.
He's like so white that like I just feel like he is.
He's also like randomly kind of yoked.
Yeah.
Like,
He's from Indiana, dude.
Yeah, he's doing.
I think he's
farming
from
stuff.
He's.
Yeah, I think he's from Indiana. He's like the classic Indiana conservative.
Yeah, he really is. Like if you were to have a picture of him, picture of like, oh, here's your standard upper class Indiana conservative. It's Mike Pence.
Yeah.
It's either that he's like throwing hay bales to try and like get some of his like latent homosexuality out of him, or he's just in the gym pumping iron with his boys, getting rubbed down.
Yep. That needs to be a video made. So like when they're in the debutante ball doing their dance, and they're clearly a foreign father-daughter kind of pair. And you can see all the Texan, the debutantes.
They're like being so supportive.
They're like, oh, look. And
they're being so supportive. I mean, this is of the scenes to watch. I wonder if Bud Light sponsored them too, because it has like one Bud Light, then there's a Bud Light seltzer.
That is true.
But it's just like.
So what's happening is they're doing the dance, and she's on her blood moon.
She's on her moon blood.
Moon blood.
This one guy fucking looking.
It's a period, and they kind of just go all for it with the dance. And I guess in this fictional Kazakhstani culture, it's a big celebratory thing. So though it's like, oh fuck yeah, let's show it to everyone.
Yeah.
So she's kind of dancing, very much highlighting her
Look at my
bloody crotch.
Yeah,
and you just have all these kind of just bourgeoisie Texans,
but they're
looking at it. Like,
they're
what
still
the hell?
clapping. They're still clapping, and
Yeah.
they're still like that's. I think that's the main thing that you can take advantage, or that he takes advantage of, is the American need to be like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna try and accommodate you.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's one of the funny things. That again, we, as Americans, we're known as like this boorish, we want our way, but like down in the streets for like the most part, especially in like your like rural or like southern places, it's like, I'll try and accommodate you,
Yeah.
for the most part.
I mean, I think there is Southern hospitality is a real thing. More so, I think that Americans are also pretty like friendly, I guess. Like people always say, like when they go to England or Europe, that they're so friendly. But I think from them, I hear that Americans are friendly. So I don't know what the thing is, but I think I don't know. I feel like if you're in line at Starbucks in London, no one's gonna talk to you. But if you're in line at America in America somewhere,
yeah,
you might have someone talk to you. Not always going to, but I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. It is interesting on I don't know. It'd be interesting to see him do this in different countries and see different reactions.
Well, because I think that in America, we probably engage the most, and that's what I've learned from going to like Germany and Italy. Like people, as long as you don't affect other people, they're like, I don't give a shit what you're doing.
Yeah.
I feel like Americans, there's like a weird natural curiosity that's like, oh, what are we doing? What are you doing?
So are we like good test subjects for Sacha Baron Cohen?
I think so.
Obviously, the American South is a very, very great test subject for him.
Oh, yeah.
Between Bruno, and I'm sure a lot of his stuff was in the South too.
It's such
the first Borat.
It's such an interesting, fascinating place because, again, we're in Wilmington, North Carolina, but I think the American South is such a fascinating place because simultaneously you'll have very kind and giving people, but those same people will have like ridiculously outdated views.
Yeah.
And hold dear to them. Like you could have the nicest person who will will be an incredible homophobe and think that they're lesser human beings.
Yeah.
But she's like, they're still nice.
Yeah.
And they're still kind. They just, I just don't think that way, honey.
Yeah, it's the whole bless your heart thing, which is like, it's kind of like up there.
It's very
in terms of like a fuck you, I think you're going to hell and I disagree with you. It's the I'm not mad at you, I'm disappointed. That's like how parents say that.
Yeah.
It's that version of
that's the American South. They're just like passive aggressive parents.
But it is
who never actually teach you the lesson. They're just like, no, that's not the way that we do it here.
But then that's the weird thing with the South is that it's growing, and it's growing because a lot of people are moving to it. You know, you have Austin or you have just any city mostly in the South. So then it's like it's become, you know, there's the whole Yankee invasion kind of thing, right?
Nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped him ahead of time.
Nobody stopped him running in as
Donald Trump. Nobody stopped him.
Or as the KKK member.
Well, that one I feel like is they're like, I
don't want to fuck with that guy.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Oh, sorry about the American South. It's growing because people are moving to Austin and stuff.
Yeah, so it's becoming like weirdly balanced, and it's like, well, it's not like, you know, it's a little bit more transient and progressive, or you're losing those old kind of country kind of closed in sheltered perspectives, but it's because people are coming in. So it's like, is that the South, or is that just the way the South is? Like, it's like, because like whenever people, the South is always easy to throw jokes at, right? Because there's, you know, Confederate flags and those fucking idiots and all that shit. But
and they're definitely there.
Yeah, but there's also just a lot of just regular people, and it's like, it's not like a backwater where everyone's fucking their cousin, you know. It's just like regular America for the most part. So
yeah,
there's a weird representation of it where it's mostly, I think, like cities like Chicago and all of California, New York. There's the perception of it, but there are also all the places that have show business and all that.
But I think too, there's like, it's the outliers. Like in any place, it's the outliers that make the impact on the places that you don't go.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're from New York or you're from New Jersey and you hear about a family of fucking people of fucking, they're just like, it's like an internal family, they're killing each other, and they hear about the Ahmaud Arbery thing, and it's like, that's Southern people, and it's like, ugh. I mean, it is, but also like not all of them, but it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
And this is also I feel bad, and I apologize to any people who are listening to this, because I think that it will be coming out on election day. Is
election day the 3rd?
Yeah, election day is the 3rd.
Yeah, wow.
So we I know that there's people who are not voting and stuff like that because they're like, we're fucking tired of hearing about politics.
Yeah.
And you know, but that's what Borat was hitting on, and we wanted to watch that sweet man yell at some
sorry for
people.
the lack of horror film this week, but it was just the timing was right here. So.
Yeah, it like just came out.
And I think just talking about it as a comedy, it made me happy and laughed, and it was nice. You know, it was nice to have that because I haven't had that in a minute.
Yeah,
and not even just like because things have been shitty in the world, but just because like comedies aren't super out there as much anymore.
Yeah.
And this was also like a nostalgic callback to a time when a lot of comedies were coming out. So overall, it's just kind of a fun trip. And it was like, the movie was more wholesome in a way, but I don't think that was because it was a comedy told in 2020. I think it was just due to the nature of Sacha Baron Cohen being recognized. But it still like felt, it wasn't holding back, I know, you know, and you know, there's a lot of our people argue that a lot of comedies do that. Particularly, what's his name? Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Todd
Phillips.
He's an interesting guy on his own right.
He is an interesting guy. I wish that he just talked less.
Yeah.
But it's really, a lot of this stuff is very small. Like, because it is told through the lens of, and it feels weird to like, examine this movie this way because it feels like it should be like pretty more straightforward, but because it is told through the lens of a Kazakhstani journalist and his daughter, like that's the level of involvement. Like we saw like earlier, we saw the tapes of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein talking their shit and Trump being like a skis ball, but that's where Borat gets the idea that it's like, oh, he liked girl, so I'd give him girl, I give him daughter. And it's like that's really the idea. He's not being like, oh, he terrible person.
Yeah.
Like it's not. They're never pointing at it. It's like it's always there.
Very true.
It's always there, but it's never like, hey, this is the statement that I'm making, because it is through their lens. And so it's very interesting that something so obvious and over the top is subdued, because in order for him to be believable and like be in these moments, be here with this plastic surgeon, be with the facts guy, and have them not be like absolutely like kick him out or whatever, he has to be subdued and real and believe what he's saying and like be a tremendous performer,
because he's coaxing them on, he's getting them to say things, but he's doing it because he's making them believe he's on their side. He's got similar beliefs or outlooks, so they're confiding, or they're like, oh, this is my safe space to have my opinions, or
and the other
candidly.
thing, sorry, I don't mean to talk over you, but the other thing is too, is because he is because in this character, English is his second language, they have to speak more clearly and directly to him.
Yep.
Which again, I'm just thinking about now.
That's true. So they're at least those people who understand how to speak to someone who so there's two ways to speak to someone who doesn't speak English natively. You speak loudly like an idiot.
Yeah.
Or you speak very plainly and very simple syntax.
Yeah.
And so
You're
speaking the very plain, simple syntax makes you come across as very plain and direct.
Yeah.
So it makes the jokes, or not the jokes, but it makes their responses even more poignant or punchy.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they're still not great for having these opinions and stuff, but it shows their kind of awareness and a level of intelligence of communicating with someone.
Well, it breaks down their responses to like exactly what it is. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it and be like, you can't, like the guy with the baby, he can't go around it. Yeah. Because it's their second language and they're playing it that way.
And you can't speak with can't use colloquialisms, or you can't or anything like that. Yeah. It's very direct. That's interesting.
Which is interesting. I haven't obviously I didn't think of that until now.
Yeah.
But so like that's my question, is like how much of it is editing, and like I don't know. I just like keep going back to like, what do they tell these people that they're gonna do? Yeah.
Well, they probably say we're Eastern European, blah blah blah, documentary about American stuff. I mean, specifically the plastic surgery scene. I don't know what the setup is, because he's there. They keep saying titty to get his daughter bigger boobs through plastic surgery. So it's like, what's the angle there? Is it like, hey, I'm I'm a Eastern European journalist, and we're looking into American plastic surgery. Like, I don't.
Or do they just actually say like, hey, I've got my daughter wants to get big old boobies.
I mean, but also it's not hard for me to like.
There was a
believe that there's a scumbag doctor that's like, yeah, fuck it, I want my 21. I want my 20 grand.
Yeah.
So.
I was like sure that they were gonna give her boobs. They were gonna give her fake boobies.
I almost thought
that they were.
Like I mean, she's very beautiful, but maybe that was like something she wanted for herself or for her career or whatever, and that was like part of it. She was like, yeah, hell yeah, let me get, But I didn't want that. I was scared that was gonna be a thing.
Well, especially because I think that you can't take them out. Like, even if she was like, yeah, you get fake boobs for like 2 years and then take them out, because there's like all this stuff about fake boobs not being good for ladies' bodies. Yeah. And I was also watching this. I was like, man, it's really weird that that's a thing. I mean, it's boobs? Not. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, the concept of it was like, huh, weird. Yeah. Anyway,
I think one of my favorite little things was his stupid character names, like John Chevrolet was one of them, and the other one's Cliff Safari was the one, and then Professor Richard Drummond III. Yep. And his daughter was
Sarah Jessica Drummond or something like that.
Yeah, Sasha Jessica Parker. Drummond.
Yeah.
Stupid name.
What was the guy who sang the Obama song at the rally?
That might have been Cliff Safari.
Was that Cliff Safari, or was that Whiteman or something?
Oh, no, yeah, it was.
It's like Bill Whiteman or something.
I love how like that, like I think that was genuine. Where Sasha, like you see him trying to get on the stage, and the guy's like, "Oh, who are you?" And he just like Sasha Baron, like he breaks the.
He's like, "Oh no," he was like, "Are you fucking this guy?" He's like, and you could see the moment where he's like, "Yeah, absolutely, I am."
Like he completely breaks Borat character so he can get on stage.
Yeah,
and I think. I don't mean, or maybe that was all calculated, but I think that was a cool little moment of like, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah.
But then like his quarantine buddy was like, oh shit, and like it seemed like genuine like two dudes who were like, oh my god, he did it, you know. But it wouldn't be hard for an actor to act that. But still, it's just like, what's real here?
Yeah.
And I love when he just walks up to the guy and he's like, I don't have anywhere to go. Can I stay with you? And the conspiracy dude's like,
yeah, all right. We never actually see that.
Yeah, you just see him slightly raise his arm as like a why not. Like the cut on that is perfect for comedic timing.
Yeah.
Especially like.
How long do you think he stayed with them? Because, all right, and I'm gonna for the rest of this, I'm just gonna assume that all of it's real, that they just did a great job producing stuff, and I'm not gonna worry about that or like how they got the face rights to people.
Yeah.
But how long do you think that he actually stayed with them? How long do you think he stayed with them?
2 weeks max, if he did.
You think 2 weeks? I think he could have stayed with them for a week, because there was a couple times where they like covered a couple different shots. I know that I'm almost positive he stayed with them for more than one day.
Yeah.
So it's not like they like went there and he stayed the night. I really do think that he stayed there for like a week.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
I like how they were the ones that educated him on women's rights and how they're equal human, like they're humans.
They got thoughts. They got brain in our head, just like us.
Yeah, I was like, so those guys probably have some less than savory perspectives and outlooks and stuff, but they don't go deep into that. Besides that, they like hate Democrats basically.
But they also had a surprisingly nice house.
Yeah, it was just such a weird. It was just weird. It's like just two dudes in a nice house.
Yeah, like this like
conspiracy theories quarantining together with Borat. I don't know why that scene stuck out to me so much. I just think it was. I just like.
I would have seen more of that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have seen like. I want to see them like do the dishes.
Yeah.
Like, these are my dishes.
They're just like roommate drama.
Yeah, just like Borat and these two QAnon conspiracy theorists.
I think I just like Motley Crue or like weird setups, and I think that was a weird setup.
Yeah, and then the mundaneness of it too would be really funny.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's get to
the twist.
Let's get to. We kind of already talked about Giuliani. I guess. Do you think that? What is your opinion? Do you think that he was being untoward? Like, would you think that he was trying to grab his wiener, get his wiener out, or do you think that he was just tucking in his pants?
See, the thing is, I've only seen it once, but that moment happened so quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bang, 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 and you're also kind of like, oh my, like you're kind of overwhelmed by what's actually going to happen. So I can't detach myself and like look at it for what it was. Besides what I remember, like what the fuck. I don't know, because he had one hand on his waistband and the other hand it could have been tucking in, or he could have been reaching into his pants. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If we're breaking down what he was doing, I don't think it was innocent I don't think he was being innocent about it. It was pretty shameless. Like, why would he be in this room with her and lay down?
Yeah, that's kind of I think him going to, especially with like a film crew there, and probably an audio person.
It looked like the door was open. No, it was a camera in the room, right?
Yeah. Like, why would he? That's the thing that like.
Well, I think that's the issue is that like rich and powerful man who's always been getting away with it,
mm-hmm.
that he can just do whatever the hell he wants. And I think that, if anything, is the message there.
Yeah.
Is that, and it's like, I mean, it's the tried and true old story of just the power people have and they wield it over others. And, and I think that is what it hit me as, and I think that's more what it's talking about than anything. But he also was very, very baited into it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because I think he's so entitled and delusional, and he's been winning, in air quotes, winning whatever it is, the scenario, the milestone, whatever the person.
I think it's pretty questionable whether or not he's been winning.
No.
But
but he's getting away with it.
Yeah.
If that's winning. So I think it was just I think you could break it down and make excuses for him or say maybe it wasn't ethical, but I don't think he behaved any differently than he would have or has before.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't it's weird. I don't think that the him like tucking his pants in or reaching, because as someone who's had lavs taken on and off of them, that feels like pretty consistent. I mean, I would probably personally wait, and I also probably wouldn't let the person who was interviewing me take my lav off. I'd be like, oh, you don't need to do that.
That is true. Like,
there's a sound person.
It could have been as innocent as that.
Also, we don't need, but that's again, it's like.
What was it leading up to?
But it's like, he doesn't need to go into a separate room.
Yeah.
He has his handlers there or whatever. He should have his handlers there. He doesn't need to go into a separate room. He has an assistant who can take his lav off.
Well, the thing is, Elson, just all the people complicit to these things happening. The crews, the production crews, his team, whoever they are, you know.
Yeah.
Just like, ugh, it's all icky.
It's all icky. But yeah, so like the big twist. I did like them. I mean, there's got to be like, again, a very childish rise about yelling, "My back pussy very tight" to Rudy Giuliani. That's like cannot be matched. Like the rush of that and like putting that person, seeing their face as they're trying to be like, "What is this? Look how he's dressed." And he's like, "My back pussy very tight. You take me. I make a crumb in my mouth."
I learned it in
I learned
Gulag.
in prison. I learned in prison. I've been in prison for many years and know how to do a very nice thing with my mouth. My life.
God, there's so many lines. Like her vagine hing like sleeve of wizard. Took me a very long time to learn what that meant, or not learn, but like to understand the imagery. I was like, oh.
There's so many good. May all your shits have antlers. Like
yeah, just like
may all your shits have antlers is so fucking fun to me.
Like, is that even something she said, or is that she just speak Bulgarian or not Bulgarian, but whatever Eastern European language, and they just put funny subtitles in?
Yeah. Well, are they speaking a language? Or are they just making like Eastern European gibberish noises?
I would think gibberish noises. The fact that Maria Bakalova is Bulgarian, Eastern European. I don't know, whatever language they speak there. She probably could riff on it and was probably doing that. And maybe gibberish, or maybe she was combining languages from neighboring countries, or the mixture of the languages, because I'm sure there's some overlap.
Yeah.
And then Sacha Baron Cohen, I don't think he can speak.
He might. He's a smart guy. He could.
I mean, there's so many questions I have about this movie in a good way. Like, I'm fascinated by it. I want to know how they made it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I keep saying, like from a producer's point of view, it's like this is an incredible feat.
Yeah. The question is, does it deserve the critical acclaim? Does it deserve, like, there's buzzing that, not buzzing, but like Sacha Baron Cohen, very, not candidly, with just very sincerely, like he's like she should be nominated for supporting actress.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, what do you think about that? Like the Rotten Tomatoes score and the fact that there's at least one professional thinks that she should get an award for it.
I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I guess in terms of questions that are tough, it's not that tough a question, but I guess the answer is no, not really.
Yeah,
it is impressive.
Yeah, she deserves a lot of recognition. I hope her career takes off.
And I hope she gets to do some fun stuff, man.
Yeah. And but it is a feat, and it is the mental load of what she had to do.
Yeah.
Is
like
and the way she succeeded in it is can't be understated how impressive it is.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she deserves a nomination. I don't know, because she is acting.
Yeah.
She is acting. I guess the question is how impactful it is. I don't know. It's pretty.
I mean, it's significant for Bulgaria, for Eastern European, for that representation in U.S. Western media.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I also don't like. I haven't seen the first one. I don't know. I think that I'm not sure what lens to look through it as. Like, is it like a documentary?
Mockumentary.
It's a mockumentary.
The first one was a mockumentary for sure.
Mockumentary, documentary, or because there is like real moments in it.
I think it's a commentary satire at this point.
Yeah.
You could say the first one was a mockumentary, but this one I would not stretch that definition for this one.
Yeah.
And I think it deserves its praise, and I think it's fine. And I it's doesn't it say go vote at the end of it too?
It does say go vote.
So it definitely has a very direct social commentary, which is interesting. But if you isolate it as that, it's also, and the timing that it comes out, it's very just a funny kind of good distraction.
Yeah.
Which is again a weird thing because it's obviously kind of trying to influence you or give you an impression. But for me, it didn't impact me in that way. Maybe it's because I voted early. But it was a good distraction.
It's not going to change anybody's minds.
Yeah.
Who watches it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's also weird because I don't think that it's funny enough to be like to get people who weren't going to vote to be like, fuck yeah, man, Borat said to vote, I'm going to vote.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Like that particular apathetic person, it's just going to laugh at the funny thing.
Yeah. Be like,
for its absurdity, but they're not going to, I'm just super speculative.
Yeah.
A lot of a portion of the population, but I don't know.
I guess the question that we're asking is like, was it successful in its satire? And I think that it was, but I don't think that, I just still kind of go back. It's like, we've been so desensitized.
Yeah.
Like to this sort of thing.
I mean, have you all gas, no brakes?
Yeah.
It's basically, that's just real.
Yeah.
And so to me,
I love All Gas, No Brakes.
Yeah. It's a
shout out All Gas, No Brakes.
He's like an investigative kind of dude. He kind of goes to.
He kind of does. He kind of wears like a similar thing to like what Borat wears, actually.
It's very
kind of an ill-fitting suit.
Yeah, and he kind of just goes out to like fringy people, like of all types. And he interviews them. Usually they're drunk or on like PCP or shit. It's just weird.
Yeah,
weird people, or you can go to like whatever the big race is at Daytona 500, and it's a bunch of rednecks, but like it's just a bunch of rednecks saying like really yikes stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so like, or him going to a what's Trump's son's name? Eric?
Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump?
I think Eric. Whatever, a book signing for him. So like, and the people there and the things they were saying. So to me, the shock value wasn't there. Or not, it was there, but I'm desensitized to it because I've definitely been seeing unadulterated real stuff.
Like, I think between All Gas, No Brakes and Nathan For You, which you should check out because it is like, I kind of like it, but it also is like, it kind of rides that line. It's like, is this mean?
Yeah.
Or is this funny?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, but is it mean? Which is like a weird thing, I guess, to ask because, sometimes, like, but you don't want people to be the brunt of jokes. I don't know.
Yeah. And they gotta deal with it in their life.
Yeah, in their real life. But I guess it's just like, between those things and just because we've been like our fucking news cycle has been so absolutely like batshit over the top. Like I don't think it really tries as hard as like the previous one. It doesn't land as like a shock value thing. It's just kind of.
Yeah, for me the biggest shock value thing was the moon blood dance.
Yeah. And
that was just an isolated kind of prank.
Yeah.
It didn't have a commentary. At all, or it wasn't like calling out the worst in people because it was just a genuine like what the fuck.
Yeah.
Which is probably why it was so their reactions were so nice to laugh at.
Yeah.
Because when you have Sacha Baron Cohen up on stage talking about how Obama is a traitor and needs to go to prison, and you see the reactions of like smiles and like people at the rally.
They got
like,
that one dude do the fucking Hail Hitler.
Yeah, like stuff like that. That's. You don't laugh at it necessarily.
Like, yikes! Yeah, that's a real person doing a fucking Heil Hitler.
Oh, that was weird.
Jeez.
But yeah, the twist. I think it's really. I think this might be the first contemporary film about COVID.
Yeah.
I think some TV shows have touched on it, but Yeah, so Borat is the reason that
He's a super spreader.
Yeah, he's the reason that COVID-19 came in. So the revenge was
the revenge on the original Borat.
Yeah. So the revenge wasn't so that we think that Kazakhstan wants to make up its image and get back into the spotlight with this gift that Borat's giving to the U.S. to Mike Pence, a monkey, a porn star monkey for some reason. But the actual goal is to get revenge on the U.S. and Borat for making Kazakhstan a laughingstock, and revenge on the U.S. and the world for laughing at Kazakhstan. So before he's getting like his shots and stuff. He's getting his haircut, and they're like, "Here's some gypsy tears to keep the Jews away."
Yeah,
a quote from the movie, a joke. And he's like, "Okay," because he's the anti-Semite, and he was injected with the disease. He was infected with COVID-19, and then he goes about. He
goes to all the places. He goes to Wuhan.
Yeah.
He goes to all the places
because it's Kazakhstan. He takes a cargo container.
Yeah.
And the cargo container is making its rounds around the world. So Borat is stopping around the world, spreading. It's a pretty good twist.
Yeah, I would say like as far as like a wrap up for like a mockumentary, like it was like, because I guess that's always the thing. Is like, how are we gonna end this? How are we gonna tie this all together? Yeah. And it's like, oh shit.
I really liked it. I thought it was clever.
It
was funny, and I think it was a good way to make light of it. Of not like a lot of make light of the pandemic and all those who died, but just like I don't know, it's just.
Oh, especially because they had him like kiss people on the cheek and like shake everybody's hand. I just thought it was like I don't know, it was a good way to tie it all together and like kind of give us like.
I guess it was kind of like a
reprieve.
Yeah, in the world that we're living, because it's like you can watch VeggieTales, and you're taken out of that world, but you can watch this and you have the escape, but then it brings it back. But it's kind of like, this is our world, and I guess it's a more grounded escape. I don't know.
And we can all laugh because we can blame it on Borat. I feel like like it's like fucking Borat, you asshole.
But it's like it's kind of like a sitcom, and it's like shucks. Classic Borat.
You were the one who spread it all around the world. You wild man. Did you see that they got Kevin Spacey, like when they were like shipping off the
because they're like, we're very progressive now, Kazakhstan. We don't ship off our women to be married.
We ship off our husbands.
Our young men, and then the address is Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Because
again, all the stuff is so little. Like they're never like, here's the joke.
Yep.
They're like, hey, here's the joke.
Because that's like a joke. Because I watched the first Borat, and I was a freshman in high school, and I got the jokes and the pranks, but like there's probably a bunch of little things that I didn't pick up. So, yeah, I don't think we have any reviews for this one, or do we?
I mean, I could like just go through and find one or two, but I don't know how many.
Looks like it's all got fresh ratings.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, great job, Borat.
Well, I'll give it 3.5. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice for subsequent movie film for cultural distribution of Kazakhstan.
I will say I'll give this movie 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. My wife's
3.5 out of 5 for me. I always do 5. But I see 2 1-stars.
Yeah, here's one.
Let's see what they got.
We've got this is a half-star review actually. Love the first one. This one not so much. Don't waste your time.
See those? I hate those reviews. I don't like it. Don't watch it. Oh, there's something I do want to talk quickly about is comedy sequels, especially comedies that came out in that golden era in the early 2000s. Like Zoolander,
Dumb and Dumber,
Anchorman, like all these things had terrible fucking sequels. And so it's kind of nice to have a sequel to a comedy from that era that is pretty good.
Yeah, I did not watch Zoolander 2.
There was one good joke in it, and it's not even the attention isn't called to it, which is why it's a good joke.
Yeah.
But
I did watch
Owen Wilson has a boner, and it's an understated joke, and it's like only there if you see it. It's just really funny, but that's it.
I did watch Anchorman 2. But yeah, for the most, I mean, even our good friend Todd Phillips, and Hangover 2 and 3.
I did enjoy those, but those were all made in the time.
They were all made like directly after it.
Yeah. they weren't capitalizing on
I
nostalgia.
don't know
It was
if
just
I
a
saw
story they were
Hangover
telling.
3. I saw Hangover 2, but I remember being like, "Why does this movie have to happen?" Even if it wasn't as bad as Anchorman 2. Like a lot of those, like it's like we don't need to do this again. We got it.
Yeah,
It was good. It was fun.
I mean, I love those movies.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit, I guess.
No. What, the Hangover movies?
I like the dynamic of the characters.
Oh no, I'm not saying no. I'm not. I'm just talking about like
Why it has to happen.
like Anchorman or Zoolander.
Oh, those.
Like just like in general, like. But I think that maybe Hangover is kind of like an exception where it's like the second one was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Still, because you do kind of like a TV show. You still want to see what those characters do, and they can kind of like even them doing sort of the same thing. You're still kind of like okay.
Yeah.
But like something like Balls to the Wall, like Anchorman, where it's like we kind of already hit all the things.
Yeah.
We could really only get more ridiculous.
I couldn't tell you a single memory or a moment from the second movie.
They save a shark. He lives in a lighthouse for a while.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And they like save a shark with his family or something like that. I don't know.
That's just a quick thing I want to throw out there because I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is cool to see that the sequel was good. You know, it wasn't like an Adam Sandler comedy today. Fucking terrible.
Oh my
Stop
God.
watching those movies, you guys. Come on.
In defense of Adam Sandler, I don't think that they're supposed to be good. They're supposed to be stupid.
But they're not even good at being stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a secret. They're just vacations for him.
They're
with his friends.
vacations, and then like him just seeing what he can do, what he can get his friends doing.
Yeah.
Just having a time.
I mean, I don't know, hold it against him. He's living his best life.
People
and,
keep giving him money to make movies,
Yeah.
and he keeps is like, "This is the movie I'm gonna make," and they keep being like, "Yeah, okay." Another half-star review. Movie was stale and boring. The formula was funny 15 years ago. Reusing the same formula today is boring. How many times can you do the same thing before it gets old?
Well, I'd say they changed the formula up enough.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something you can do is you can keep the same, but you got to reinvent it, and I think this movie reinvented it just enough.
Yeah. I mean, if storytelling is just telling the same story in different ways.
Yeah.
Two kind of funny moments. The rest is absolutely horrible. Not worth watch. Can't believe the critic reviews.
Are they trying to write this as a Kazakhstani?
Probably. If you love the first one, you'll hate the second.
No, you're wrong. Wrong. Trump.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Let's do one more.
The first movie was comedy gold. Second is just political propaganda against Republicans. At the end, they even tell you, now go vote.
No, they don't tell you who to vote for.
They don't. They just say go vote.
I would say that the first one shits on the same type of people. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they're saying there.
Oof. He should have retired the character after the first film, which was genuinely new and funny. The jokes in this one are stale.
Seems like I'm just looking at it. Looks like the reviews are pretty polarizing.
Yeah.
They're more or less the same thing. And it's interesting how many people didn't like the second one. And I wonder
this
if
was
that's
maybe better than the original. It's a 5-star review.
I wonder how many of it is the classic, just someone who feels attacked, or feels
Yeah.
like their family or their loved ones' views were attacked.
Well, this was an interesting one. Appalling, disgusting, and offensive to women and to Kazakhstan, a Central Asian country to 18 million people. This movie is dishonest, vile, and a waste of time.
I mean, yeah, that is a different
Because
I was like, I knew Kazakhstan was a country, but Borat had been out of mind for long enough where I was like, I think he's like I think it's a fictional country, or the country. Like I knew it was just like,
yeah,
I don't know. It was like a weird head
canon.
Yeah, but I was like, no, I mean, it's definitely a real country, and no.
I guess in attacking that interview is like it is offensive to women, but it's offensive, as I say, as a straight white dude. But it's offensive to teach. Like she's teaching she's teaching herself to like go beyond what she's been taught, and she's trying to teach her her dad the same things, that she is a person that should be like thought of as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, in a weird way, it's kind of like,
I mean, you could say it's offensive, but it's just the setup of discovery.
Yeah.
And the story is a simple one of misunderstanding or holding on to traditions, and maybe it comes across as brash or offensive, but it's the story, the messaging, you've seen it a million times. You've seen it in children's movies. Like, it's not, I think it's just a setup, and a setup that yields for jokes, because yes, this is a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And
basically we're saying, well, that's the point, loser.
I guess, but who knows?
Yeah, what else, have you been watching anything else in this, past week, because this
Yeah, so we
what
recorded.
What are you gonna watch?
Yeah. I don't know. I want to watch a lot more movies from about 10 to 20 years ago. I've been having a lot of fun watching 90s and 80s movies, which I guess goes past that. But it's funny, Tony Romo, a football commentator, they were talking about the movie Scream, and he's like, it's what I've been doing. It's funny that he said that. He's like, yeah, you know what? I've been going back watching like movies that like 15 years old. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Going back watching those movies. I'm like, you're right,
Thanks,
Tony Romo.
Thanks, Tony.
So am I.
Me and you, we're in the same boat.
So that was kind of weird and funny. And
I've been kind of catching up on the shows that I started and didn't finish, like Watchmen. I'm gonna finish
like
Watchmen.
I think I decided I'm not going to care or keep watching Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
I hated the pacing of the show.
Okay.
And the direction felt lackluster.
All right. I think that's a dangerous opinion, but also I don't think it's that dangerous an opinion.
No.
But it's funny though, because I have sort of like petered off of Lovecraft Country. Like, I was watching
I feel like a lot of people probably have.
Part of me is like kind of like waiting for it to all be done so that I can kind of like binge it.
Yeah. There's never been an episode that I was like, I want to keep going.
Yeah.
There's never been an episode, and I thought, like, after the first 3 episodes, like, okay, it's Monster of the Week. And no, they kind of try to tie things together, and I'm like, why did we spend the last episode each on these? Like, I don't know. And maybe I'm not paying that enough attention, but I'm watching it, and it's not working for me. And
I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I do. I still think it's really good.
Yeah.
And I think it's really.
I mean, it's had its the first 3 episode 1 and 3 I liked a lot.
Yeah.
They were really good. Second episode just wasn't my thing. I'm not into the like kind of mystical horror vibe or whatever they were going for.
Maybe it's something that you can like pick up and like you can skip around.
Yeah.
Like, you could watch the finale when it comes out and be like, all right, I'll catch up and see how everything... Because I feel like all the pieces are there. Like, I don't know how much you're going to miss if you've made it. Like, you can watch the first 3 episodes, like, be like, no.
I mean, maybe that's why I don't like it, is if I had to, like, shit, this is good.
Yeah.
And then lows are like, I am so bored. Like, it's taken... So it's like, I don't know. But I also, it hasn't strung, the episodes haven't strung along in a way that have wanted me to keep watching also, even the good ones.
There definitely is, like, it's like a slow pull. It's like fishing, I would say.
Yeah.
Where it's like you cast your line and maybe you're like you're excited in the beginning, but then it's just kind of like there's always something there, but there's always something else on top. So there's like this like long, slow pull, but like on top, there's something that's more important that you're focusing on, while there's this other thing that's like just kind of happening. Like, I know like Tick and the girl, they're like, they have their thing and they're like kind of just like discovering stuff while this other thing is happening.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I can totally get it. I mean, obviously I have sort of like, it's weird. I guess fallen out of it where it's like, I don't feel like I need to continue to watch it.
Yeah. We got Mandalorian coming up too, so
yeah,
that'll be tight.
I'll finish that all in one night.
That'll have
because it won't be coming out all at one time.
That'll have been out by now.
It will have the first episode at least.
Yeah,
or maybe the first 3. How are they doing it? Do you know?
I don't have to look it up. But last year they doubled up. I think they did like a Tuesday, Thursday, episode 1 and 2.
Hell
But yeah, guys, that's Stinky Popcorn Boys talking about Borat Subsequent Movie Film.
Yes, and make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Stinky Podcast, and tell us what we should watch next. What you thought about? Tell us what you thought about Borat. Did you think it was funny? Did you like it? Do you love Rudy Giuliani? Do you not? He was weird. Pitch us your movie. Tell us your favorite movie, and rate and review the Stinky Podcast on wherever you listen to it.
As they say in Kazakhstan, Yakshamesh.
Yakshamesh. My wife. You gotta get one in there. My wife.